Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mind the Grad. As you know, I'm Valeria, a career coach for international students in the UK. And today I have a special guest. With great pleasure, I would like to introduce Yash Dubal, a managing director of AYG Solicitors.
Hi, Valeria.
Thank you so much for giving us our time. I know you're very busy and it took a while to schedule a meeting with you, but at the same time, you were kind enough to answer the most common questions on immigration regarding student and work visa in the UK.
With
And
pleasure.
I do have a lot of students reaching out to me and asking quite a few questions on immigration because it is not clear. It is a difficult topic. We don't get much support on visa status, how to extend visas, what's going to happen with immigration changes. A lot of students are kind of lost. So I think it will be really helpful if you, with your expertise and experience, will first introduce yourself and then will be kind enough to open our eyes on many immigration topics that are bothering
Sure,
us. So
sure.
please tell us what you do and about your career.
Sure. So my name is Yash Dubal. I'm managing director at AY Solicitors, and I founded this firm in 2008. We are now a multi-award winning Legal 500 boutique immigration law firm based in central London. We have served more than 4,000 plus clients. We have 1,000 plus reviews and plenty of YouTube videos and resources. So yeah, I'm glad to share my experience, expertise, and knowledge with you, Valeria, to guide your audience and answer any specific question you might have.
No, great. Thank you so much. So I guess we'll just start with quite a simple question that a lot of people kind of know the answer, but still confused. Uh, so if you come in to study to the UK and you are on student or route visa or tier 4, which is what is currently called, is it actually beneficial for you in terms of immigrating to the UK for work purposes, for employment?
Sure. Based on my experience of last 10 years, Valeria, I would say it definitely adds value. If you are here as a student, of course, you get to know the employer. Mostly students, they start working part-time or as an intern with the UK-based employer. They develop this rapport with the employer that might lead into getting a sponsored work visa. Where from overseas, there is no rapport, there is no connection, you don't get to know your employer, and hiring someone from foreign land, someone very unknown, might be a bit challenging unless you are very skilled and you have a
Mm-hmm.
specific niche skill which employer needs in the UK. Then you might get this opportunity straight away. But being on a student visa, of course, you develop this rapport, number one. Number two, if you are switching in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
the employer doesn't need to pay immigration skill charge. What it means is
Yes.
more cost effective for the employer to hire you in the UK.
Exactly. And I think that's a great benefit that a lot of students should take advantage of. They realize that while they're in UK, if they get a visa while they're still studying, the work visa, it will be way more beneficial for employer in terms of costs if then you return back home and you apply for work visa, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
uh, so actually, I'm so glad that I'm talking to you today because there are a few immigration changes coming into force quite soon. Way less than a month now. Time flies. In January 2021, and I'm not an immigration lawyer, and I obviously have read the news and update the policies, but I'm still quite confused what it means for international students, what real impact it will make, what good things or maybe bad things that will impact international students with new changes in 2021 immigration changes.
I would say it's a very good news for international students. Post Brexit, if international students are very keen and if they have a very clear objective as to what they want to achieve, the new changes are welcoming for international students in a way where post Brexit, I believe there would be increased demand of skilled workers in the UK because there is no more free movement. So
Mm-hmm.
EU national would not have automatic rights to come and work in the UK. So that might increase opportunities for international students to get a sponsored work visa, number one. Number two, government has reduced the skill threshold for someone to be sponsored under work visa. So as of now, it's RQF level 6, but it will be reduced to RQF level 3. What it means in a layman terms, any managerial position might qualify for sponsored work visa. For an example, if you were to work in a restaurant, you could be even sponsored as a restaurant manager. And I'm just putting this as a hypothetical scenario
Yeah.
just for our audience to understand what it means by RQF level 3 and RQF level 6. As of now, someone has to be sponsored as a business development manager, doing strategies, you know, doing a very high level skill work. Then only they will qualify to get into sponsorship route. Where from January 2021, a shopkeeper, you go to convenience store and there are shopkeeper, they can be sponsored. And the
Mhm.
reason I'm mentioning this job role is for you and the audience to have some idea. It is becoming easier. So that's number two. Number three is government has abolished the resident labor market test completely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't need to advertise anyway. Students are exempt for many years from this resident labor market test. But what it means is it is becoming easier, for the employer to get the sponsor license and sponsor overseas worker. And bear in mind, the biggest benefit for student to get sponsored visa is to explain the employer that there is no immigration skill charge to pay.
Mhm.
Immigration skill charge is probably one of the biggest cost, is £1,000 per year per
Yeah.
person. So let's say if someone is being sponsored for, let's say, 3 years, £3,000 is straight cost to the employer, where the employer do not need to pay if they are hiring international student into work route. So that's the biggest benefit the student should remember.
Yeah, you're right. I do tell that to my clients, and obviously residence labor market test as well. There was a benefit which now everyone can take advantage of, and even the fact that the skill level is changing is beneficial for national students, because not everyone has experience or ready to go into very skilled position straight out of university. And I do have clients who say, can I work as assistant, can I work as secretary, can I help around in the office? And I'm just saying, you can't on a work visa, unfortunately, but it's such a natural way to get experience after university. So I'm really looking forward to these changes. I think it will be really beneficial for the, not just for international students, but for the UK in general, just becoming more open-minded to international workforce. And I do think it is a great change, and thank you for clarifying it so clearly.
Yes.
I actually had another question. Is there is still some salary levels that are going to be in place, right? Still certain requirements a student would need to meet in order to qualify for work visa. So currently, I know the salary levels are um, not standard. It depends on type of role you're doing. How will it work next year? So if you wanted to switch from student route to skilled or not as skilled labor route, how much do you have to earn? Do you know
Right.
approximately?
Yeah, sure. For student generally, under new rule is £20,480,
Wow.
or 70% of the ongoing rate. So within the immigration rule, there is a table of salary criteria of ongoing rate for each job role.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, the minimum salary requirement for student to switch in the UK is a £20,480 per year, or 70% of the ongoing rate, whichever is higher.
Right, right.
Right?
Okay.
So it's whichever is higher. So we have to pick two figures: 70% of ongoing rate from the table of the occupation code, and 20,480. So between these two, whichever is higher, student needs to be paid to get a sponsored work visa.
Right.
That's the general rule. So generally speaking, 20,400 or around that, that's the mark. And up to 4 years, 4 years, up to 4 years, student can be sponsored under the new entrant salary,
Mm-hmm.
up to maximum up to 4 years. So that is a clear £4,000 of saving
Mm-hmm.
for the employer under immigration skill charge. And that's
Right.
a big saving. Or initially, if they get sponsored even for 3 years under new entrant route,
Yeah.
then probably there will be the student, if they get sponsored work where they will develop skill, experience and expertise for them to get paid the higher amount of salary after 3 years, a normal progression and normal salary increase or promotion. So yeah, students, I would encourage them to keep their options open and stay open minded. I will, of course, in this interview share my experience, how I offered one of the students work, and sponsored him as well. And now he is very successful business development manager, earning £100,000, not with me, but other employers. So I've done that.
Hmm.
And yeah, we will talk about that in a minute.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for that. It's clear. I always tell my clients that um, you should, if any doubt about the salary level or details of how to get a visa, reach out to a professional, because I'm a career coach. I cannot advise you. I'm not qualified. It is still a difficult topic, immigration. There are so many different details. So I encourage anyone to speak to a professional firm such as yours, so they can get right advice, because you don't have opportunity to get it wrong when you're applying for visa, and not all employers support you with that. It's a kind of, they can sometimes put this on your on student to get the right visa, the right
Yeah.
documents and so on. So okay, so going back to getting a skilled worker visa in the UK, and I do have some clients that are really short on time, so they could have just a few months left or even weeks, and they do ask me, Valeria, what is the last opportunity for me to apply for a skilled route? So let's say someone is graduating in January, and the visa will expire in March. Um, what is the last day they can apply in the UK for a
Sure.
skilled?
Yeah. Good question. The last day to apply for any further leave to remain visa
Mm-hmm,
is the last day of your visa expiry date. That's the clear, simple, short answer. The last day of your visa expiry. So these days, most of the immigration application could be submitted online. So if you press the
mm-hmm,
button and submit application on the very last day of your visa expiry, that would be considered as an in-time application. And it's
mm-hmm.
extremely important that you submit in-time application so that you would not be considered as an overstayer or
Yeah.
illegal entrant in the UK. So please, I urge everyone to ensure they submit the application, at least in a worst case scenario, very last day of their visa expiry. Just press the button, make the payment to the Home Office, and that's all about it. And make a valid application online, and that's that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And that's good news that you don't have to have 1 month left on your visa or even a week. It's last day. So till last moment, you should be applying and trying to get a visa if that's your goal. So, but obviously, realistically speaking, nowadays in coronavirus situation and considering different personal situation of students, sometimes they do have to go back to the home country, and then if the goal is still to get a tier 2 or a skilled route to a visa, well, how it's going to be called in 2021, what is the process of applying to work visa from outside the UK if you have studied previously in the UK?
Yeah, it's simple as any other process. The employer has to have a sponsor license. That's a number one requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So if the employer doesn't have a sponsor license, they need to apply for one. It takes approximately 8 weeks to get the sponsor license.
Yeah.
I would say it's not complicated. We are doing day in, day out, and we get the sponsor license within 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
And it's not complicated because of the way we have prepared the system, policy
Mm-hmm.
and procedure. It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
So give this assurance to any potential employer if they are scared of getting sponsor license. The number one is not too complicated. It takes about 8 weeks. Once they have the sponsor license, they need to apply for a defined COS, certificate of sponsorship,
Mm-hmm.
the Home Office. They make an application, and it takes average one working day for the Home Office to approve that. So it's quick. And once they have the defined COS, the employer has a defined COS on their sponsorship management system. It's an online portal. So once they have the COS, they assign this certificate of sponsorship, stands for COS, to the
Yeah.
prospective overseas skilled worker. And then this overseas skilled worker will submit an application from overseas to enter the UK as one
Mm-hmm.
of the skilled worker. And this is how the process works. So 8 weeks to get the sponsor license, 1 or 2 days to get the defined COS, then to submit tier skill worker route. Tier 2 is now has been renamed or probably replaced with a new route called skill worker route. So we should
Mm-hmm.
the new terminology. It used to be called as tier 2. The apply for skill worker route entry clearance might take 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
So we are talking about approximately from end-to-end process, roughly 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
And if we are lucky, we can accomplish that within 2 months as well.
Yeah.
But ideally, 4 months is a good timeline. But if you don't have 4 months at hand, I have helped students to switch in the UK into tier 2 previous route within like 4 to 6 weeks as well.
Yeah.
So there are various ways of course, designing the process. Even if you are in a very last days of your stay in the UK as a student, there is a mechanism we can work with to make that happen, to get the sponsor license for the employer and get the skilled worker route visa for the student as well in the UK without leaving the UK.
Yeah.
And as we discussed earlier, the benefit of applying in the UK is a saving of immigration skill charge for the employer, which is
Yeah.
a huge saving. And it's kind of a motivation for them to get you on board as a skilled worker route.
Yeah. You're right. Exactly. And I guess if the employer already has a license, that's much
It's quick.
easier. It's quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, it adds an extra 2 months.
Yeah. And it's great how you encourage uh, the, the fact that employer can get a license. And I do tell my client that you can negotiate the license, but it's in your hands to give the right information. And again, if you have the right information on hand from a solicitor, from a professional, and then you go to employer and you explain exactly what it will require for them to get a license, rather than you go into an interview or negotiation stage and you're just like, well, I think you can get a license and it wouldn't be hard or difficult. So I encourage anyone who is thinking of being interviewed in a firm that might be able to sponsor but doesn't have a license yet, be prepared with the right information. If you don't have the right information, ask professionals, because it's really important for an employer to, if they take in this risk, or not the risk, or responsibility of sponsoring, that they have the right information before they make a decision.
Yeah.
So I another question, and it is a bit off topic. A lot of students ask me, and I think most of them are from outside the UK. They read about the shortage occupation list. They read that it's some kind of benefit, that UK is really focusing on it, and they are valuing certain professions over others in terms of sponsorship. But I do obviously have some experience as well, and I think that it might not be as relevant for certain people that are already in the UK and looking for a position. And I think it might be even less relevant next year. So really, if you're an international student, let's say doing business or law or medicine, do you really have to care about occupation, shortage occupation list in order to secure a tier 2? And when do you actually have to care about this list?
Shortage occupation list is a very few profession, right?
Yeah,
It for students, if they are in the UK and switching
yeah,
into skill worker route, in my view, it doesn't benefit them a
yeah.
lot. But yes, if you are applying under shortage occupation route, then the home office fee is slightly lower
Mm,
than the normal skill worker route, will pay. So that's the only benefit I can think of. But someone who is coming from overseas, they would not be benefited, let's say, if they are not being benefited with new entrant salary. So new entrant salary is for only few who are under 26-year-old, or someone switching in the UK from student visa, or those people will be benefited with new entrant salary. So if you do not benefit with the new entrant salary, then you might want to look into the shortage occupation code and list, because
Mm-hmm.
again, it offers lower salary threshold, which might be more beneficial for the employer and more motivating for them to sponsor you, because they don't need to pay a very higher salary threshold. So for students switching in the UK probably would not make a huge difference. If but for someone who is coming from overseas might make a difference if they do not qualify for new entrants
Mm-hmm.
salary threshold. Yes,
Yeah, thank you for
but in general,
clarifying.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
It's case by case basis, Valeria. So
yeah,
we need to look into it. What is more beneficial for specific candidate about shortage occupation list?
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And another question is, how much does tier two cost in reality? I know we obviously can go on government UK website, but from your perspective, what are the main costs that the company or the student will acquire, and who usually pays for it, a student or a company, from your experience?
Sure. What we'll do now, we'll just take the rough
Yeah.
figures, right? Rather talking 624 pound into three and it becomes XYZ. I'll just give
Yeah.
rough idea. So for the benefit of audience, they want to just pick some rough figures, and then probably will go to their employer and say, look, this is what it will cost. So cost number one for the employer is to apply for sponsor license, which is 536 pound. So this is what they will invest getting
Mm-hmm.
sponsor license. I'm not talking about our professional fees here. Of course, the
Yeah.
audience can contact us separately if they're interested. But let's talk about the home office fees. So home office fees, first is sponsor license application fees, 536 pound for the employer to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get the license, they assign a certificate of sponsorship that is 199 pound. And then once they
Mm-hmm.
assign COS, then the student, they go on to make the application to the home office, and they pay 624 pound per year immigration health surcharge,
Mm-hmm.
and 704 pound for the home office fees for 3 years. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say we have a student here in our audience now, and
Yeah.
they say, okay, I want to apply for 3 years, skilled worker route
Yeah.
visa, and my employer doesn't have license. What is the total cost? So 536 plus 200, which is 636. Let's keep it 650 pound.
Yeah.
536 200. So sorry, 736,
Yeah. Yeah.
750 pound to the employer, and 1807, 2500 pounds something to the employee, which is student. So all in all, we are talking about 3,300 pound. Let's say roughly 3,500 pound, again,
Yeah.
as I said,
Yeah.
rough figure. So that's the total cost. So now they got an idea, roughly in 3,500 pound in the home office fees, you can switch your student visa into skilled worker route, where the employer is getting a sponsor license
Yeah.
to sponsor as many international skilled worker they want. So getting sponsor license is just one-off cost, and it is valid for 4 years. And then you can easily renew that. And it's one-off cost, one-off investment. You just keep the license as for foreseeable future.
Yeah.
um, I think, yeah, I think there is we will talk about why and how employer should hire international student, probably. That probably might make it more clearer to your audience why, is it easy to get skilled worker route as well, in the next question.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move to that question. How can a student convince a company to sponsor? Maybe you can share some
Yeah, sure.
cases you had, and what is your opinion as a business owner or managing director? Should a business make this investment?
Yeah, sure. So I think our audience are students, and international students, and what I would suggest them is to think from the employer's point of view. Don't think you are student and you need the work permit, and you are the one who is the most neediest today. Don't think like that. Think other way around. Think from the employer's point of view. Let's say I'm an employer. What do I need? If I am running a business, I need a reliable workforce who is very productive, and skillful and profitable to my business as a resource. This is what I'm in need of, right? So if you can prove that you are reliable, you are productive, and you have right skill set that generates in general more profit for my business, then then there is no reason for me not to retain you as one of my workforce. So think other way around. How do you add, or how could you add value and be more profitable resource to the company? And if you do that, genuinely the employer will be inclined to get you on board as a skill workforce. Who is the business would not like a productive, reliable workforce, right? So
Exactly.
think other way around. Yeah. So if you change your mindset and think, other way around, probably it will be more likely you could convince your employer. At the end of it, it goes to the cost. As a business, the business looks at the bottom line. The bottom line is the profit,
Yeah.
right? The more reliable, productive, and skilled workforce they have, the more profit they will make in long run. If it's a small business, they would not like to have a key worker who is calling off sick continuously, or probably not reliable, or making more mistakes, not producing enough value for the work they are doing, and needs a lot of training. Probably the employer or small company would not be happy to keep those employees, right? So if you employ this
Yeah.
strategy and probably put this in mind, look, this is what I need to do. I need to bring in value for the work I am doing. And if you just do that, probably for a few months, and then go to your employer, approach them that this is the likely cost, and I'm
Yeah.
happy, and probably, you might be happy to bear some of the cost to make it affordable for your employer, then I don't think any employer would not even consider that. So they
Yeah.
might be say, oh, that's too difficult and complicated. You can give them assurance it's not complicated to get the sponsor license, right? It's just matter of some steps, and then there are professional guidance out there. And on my website, there is a lot of free resources. You don't need to even hire me or pay me any fees. There is so much free resources I've created, which makes it more. And I do many webinars every week, and I just provide free information, free guidance. Do it
Yeah.
yourself if you can, right?
Yeah.
So it's not complicated. This is what I want to say to students. It's not complicated. Just say that to your employer. Provide value to your employer. And I want to share one of my experience, and this is what I did, and it's very short.
Mm-hmm.
Probably it could be more inspiring and motivating
Yeah.
for the audience today. Back in 2014, and we were a smaller company than what we are today,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking for someone who is productive and reliable, who I can trust and
Mm-hmm.
understand this small company setup and then work productively. I was looking for a business development manager then. And there was a company in the same building we are in central London. I found an intern working for another solicitors firm. And I said, look, you are great. Can we have a small chat at Starbucks? So we met at a Starbucks, very small meeting. I said, look, I'm happy to sponsor you. Would you like to work with me as a business development? As a new entrant, he was a student, he was a
Yeah.
law student. And then it clicked. And we started working, and he worked with us for good 3 years. And then he found a better opportunity. He moved on, and now he's earning in the region of £100,000 in 5 years time. He was a talented a student. He was a very
Yeah.
talented, very skilled. He did well, and it worked out well for us, where I had a reliable business development executive manager for 3 years, with a very affordable salary for my company.
Yeah.
He produced well. Same time, he got the opportunity to work with me. He got the tier 2 visa with us. Now he is settled. So yes, this is how it works. This is a live, genuine, real example I'm talking about. This is
Yeah.
how it worked with me. So I think it's same, and I do help many small companies to get the sponsor license, help student to switch into tier 2, and it does work well. It's more about
Yeah.
how you approach this opportunity, Valeria, how you
Yeah.
think about it. Don't think you are the only neediest one. The employer also needs you equally, right? So it's a kind of a 50-50 partnership. Keep this way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I'm so glad that you don't just talk about immigration today, you also talk about motivation and mindset. And I totally agree with you when my clients come to me and say, how do I stand out from compared to British people or back in the day Europeans? I'm just saying you are not competing in terms of visa, you're competing in terms of skills, bringing value to the firm and motivation. And it is not easy for anyone to find great workforce. Actually, people resources are very scarce and talent is very valuable, but you do have to prove and show you that you're worth it. And for many businesses in the UK, the sponsorship fees or visa fees are nothing compared to having a great talent on board for many years. So,
Exactly.
and I was a tier 2 holder back in the day myself. And I went through this whole mindset change myself, that I always compared myself with local workers, but it's not like that. When you come into the office and you start your work, you just a resource and a valuable team member that you have to bring value. And you can bring value even if you are not super experienced. Hard work, ability to learn, reliability, that's all stuff is also valuable. You don't have to be a doctor or an engineer to start bringing in value. So I think we can kind of finish on this positive note. But from you, I would like to hear how can my potential audience reach out to you? I obviously will leave all the information in description. How can you help them, just so they're not shy to reach out to you and get the right information if they need?
Sure, sure. So first thing first, I would advise them to just search on YouTube AY and just solicitors. They will find my YouTube channel. Just subscribe to that. That is my first request. You get the updated videos, which I'm doing it, and I will do more videos foreseeable future. I will be do more because I just want to contribute more. If I have all this knowledge and expertise, and if I die, it's worth nothing. But if I pull out on online resources, of course, it will be worth a
Yeah,
lot more to the audience. So this is what I want to do. So connect on social media platform with us.
I will leave a
If
link to your YouTube channel so you guys can go directly through the link.
Thank you, Valeria. Thank you so much. And number two, if you need some one-to-one guidance, just drop us an email at contact@avijsolicitors.com, or you will find contact details on my website, which is avijsolicitors.com. Just to note and to manage expectation of the audience, we do charge consultation fees. I try and provide, because we are very busy. Our lawyers are extremely busy, and it's not as of now affordable for us to provide free legal advice. But if you are looking for some free assistance from us, check our website. There are plenty of blogs. Check YouTube videos. Check our webinars. Every week we do, right? So this is how you could be benefited at no cost. But if you need some a tailored service, a tailored advice, we do charge consultation. It is just to manage expectation. We have 1,000+ reviews, and when people call with an expectation of free advice, they go on to leave a negative review. I don't want to do that. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time and finding opportunity to speak to us today and give such valuable information. I hope we will do another video
Yes.
soon. Thank you.
Definitely. Definitely. Please. Nice speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.